You know what spiritual psychosis looks like in religion? It's believing that you can pray to God and he answers all of your prayers. And we're talking about someone you deem to be the God of the universe. You pray to him and he answers your prayer. You ask him for a new car, you get it. New house, you get it. A husband, you get it. But there are literal genocides happening all over the world. Families are just praying for food, for water, and they can't even get a prayer answered at all. But you believe that God is so invested in you that he answers all of your prayers. This is spiritual narcissism wrapped in delusion. Because everything good that happens for you is God, and everything bad is the devil. And there's no self-accountability at all. Now, I do believe that you have the power to speak things into existence, right? You have the power to shift your own situation, but that is the inner power working within you. But when you say that Jesus is God of the universe, but you cannot account for millions, maybe even billions of people who literally can't get anything, but he answers all of your prayers, it sounds like a dictator more than a God. It sounds like spiritual narcissism. It sounds like a spiritual psychosis.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm sorry. It just does not make sense.
I saw a post that was asking why are religious people more prone to bouts of psychosis. And it's because they don't believe in something that is based in reality. And so whenever their psyche starts to shift and the things around them don't start to make sense, they start to blame them on things that aren't based in reality. And then the people around them affirm these delusions because they also believe in something that isn't based in reality. And they blame it on other things that aren't based in reality. Think about like people having bouts of mental health and then they blame it on demons or the devil. Like whenever people start hearing voices, they say that's like a spiritual connection from the higher power that they believe in. And since they're in a community that reaffirms these delusions, they already have a belief system that isn't based in reality. They are more prone to believing these delusions and just sitting in them because there's nothing to bring them back to reality. Like, think about the comments on anybody's post that is obviously going through religious psychosis. All of the religious people in there will be like, don't listen to anybody who's telling you that this is psychosis. Like, It's real, it's from God, and it's making it worse. Y'all are making these people actively worse. You are driving these people further into their delusions, and it's dangerous.
The flash floods in Texas have reminded me that the worst part about religion, and especially Christianity, is how many people think that the rapture is coming or that the end of the world is just destined to happen. So rather than actually connecting the dots and seeing that climate change is making these natural disasters get worse, and it's because billionaires are stripping our planet of all of its natural resources, they think that it's just like God's will and God's punishment because gay and trans people exist.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Look at you.
Do something with it.
It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me.
Funny. Yes, but not funny, haha. Funny, weird.
If you're African but religion has made you deaf to logic, please scroll as well, because what I'm about to say will not massage your religious ego. It will bruise it instead. It will confront the spell under which you live. Let's get one thing straight. Prayer doesn't change nations. People do. Systems do. Leadership does. Education does. And until we Africans understand that, we'll keep kneeling while the world keep building. Aren't you tired of watching the continent with the most prayer warriors languishing in abject poverty? Aren't you tired of binding imaginary demons while our real enemies, poverty, illiteracy, corruption, and tribalism, walk free? My mother lives in a crescent about 600 meters long, and in that 600 meters, there are 3 churches, not a single school, not a clinic, not a drainage system. We are overcharged and underdeveloped. You fast, pray, cast and bind and wait for miracles, while nations that don't even believe in your God are sending rockets to space. America didn't become a superpower by prayers. They built systems, embraced education, invested in science, and created policies. The Middle East didn't become rich through night vigil. They mastered oil, trade, and geopolitics. They invested in infrastructure and innovation. And China? They don't know Jesus. They don't know Muhammad. They know strategy. They know discipline. They know nation building. But here we are, Africa, the most prayerful continent on the surface of the earth, but the least developed. If prayers alone changed people and nations, Africans will be the richest and Africa will be heaven on earth. So let's stop pretending for a minute. The modern African church has become a business center, selling you oils, promises, and fear while you hand over your bank account. You don't need deliverance. You need discipline. You don't need prophecy. You need productivity. You don't need another 40-day fast. You need a 40-year plan. We have the Congo Basin, the second largest forest in the world, but yet we import toothpick. If that doesn't tell you the level of our sheepishness, nothing else will. So instead of building another church, build a school. Instead of going to another Bible or theological school, go to a technical school or learn a trade. Instead of giving your last money to a pastor, save it and start a small business. Instead of waiting for divine connections, go out, network, and build real ones. Instead of praying for good leaders, start voting with your brain, not your religion or tribe. Instead of casting out demons, start casting out ignorance, because God isn't the problem. You are. He gave you hands to walk, not just to clap. A brain to think, not just to bow. A voice to speak truth, not just to scream amen and hallelujah. So here's the truth. Faith without sense is continued slavery. Religion without reason is mental colonization. And any spirituality that makes you passive while others build, it's not divine, it's a trap. I'm not asking you to abandon your faith, even though I may not share the same. I'm saying stop using it to excuse laziness, stupidity, and silence. God gave us the tools, but we're so obsessed with heaven that we can't even fix the hell we currently live in. Africa doesn't need more churches. Africa needs more thinkers. And until we realize that, we will keep screaming amen and hallelujah while the rest of the world keeps shouting science, technology, AI, robotics, commerce, and geopolitics. If you're not
Let me tell you what's more evil than a murderer. What's more evil than a murderer is you knowing God and going the opposite direction.
I strongly believe that at the root of religious psychosis is low self-esteem. The other day, I was telling my mom that the reason why a lot of born-again Christian pastors do not move me, why I don't think I will ever fall for the schemes of a false prophet, why no matter what life throws at me, I will never be in a building kissing mama and papa's feet for 3 hours straight. It's because I like myself and I genuinely believe in myself, and I believe that I am deserving of gentleness, care, consideration, and grace. I don't know if it's because I'm young and I'm only becoming aware of this phenomenon now and it's always existed, if it's a new strategy for real, but what I've noticed a lot of these younger born-again Christian pastors, preachers, whatever you guys call them, that they think harshness makes their message realer or divine. That their selling point is that they don't sugarcoat the gospel and they will tell the gospel as it is. And if you feel any sort of discomfort, it's because your sin is keeping you in that comfort and the devil is keeping you in that comfort. And through the divine intervention of God, you've been brought into the space to hear the truth no matter how harsh it is. And they frame God as this being who behaves like an abusive parent. A parent who is only capable of tough love. A parent who is out to get you. A parent who is literally waiting for you to take the wrong step so they can criticize you and punish you severely for it. And that God is holding you to this very impossible standard of how you can exist. And anything outside of perfection is not worthy of God or worthy of God's time, blessing. I want to relate this back to gentle parenting. I wonder why as a society we're so obsessed with tough love when there's actual evidence to prove that tough love has never worked and will never work. I mean, just the other day, people were speaking about the experiences of being raised by strict parents, and a lot of them speak about how they grew up to be adults who lie a lot because they never had freedom to share difficulties, share their missteps. They never had a safe place to be corrected with grace, because that's the important thing. As much as parents are supposed to guide children, they need to do it in a respectful and kind way. Because if your response to your child making a mistake is harshness, they're bound to do it again. More than anything, it creates unnecessary friction and resistance from the child. And if the child doesn't grow up to be unruly, they grow up to be very distant from you and disconnected from you. People literally spoke about how they're overly anxious because their parents were so strict and harsh. They struggle to maintain friendships. They struggle to let down their guard in friendships, in romantic relationships. They have an avoidant attachment style. They struggle to even place an order go chicken lick in. They crumble at authority figures even in the workplace. They look in the mirror, all they see is a failure. They hate how clothes fit them. They hate the car they drive. They hate how their marriages have turned out. More than anything, they feel like no decision that they've ever made in their life has ever been fully or truly for themselves, and that they were always out to please someone else. So my question is, why do we as a society think that kindness, gentleness, care will not build good character? Because I think there's more value in showing each other softness, because kindness shown to someone is kindness that they will show to someone else. Softness shown to someone is the softness they will show to other people. Consideration shown to someone is consideration that they will show to other people. Unfortunately, as much as it pains me to say this, if you look at the people who follow not just Rory Sang, but all of these born-again pastors, they're the same kind of person. They all are, you see what I've just described? Low self-esteem, overly anxious, dissatisfied. All of them fit that profile. And unfortunately, these born-again Christian pastors take advantage of that. Firstly, this idea that you need to be content with how your life is because God made it that way is one of the reasons why these people are in that situation. Because it makes it seem as though you wanting to heal, you wanting to improve yourself, you wanting to work on your self-image is a worldly desire. I just need to say this. Dissatisfaction with your life is not always from a place of comparison. If you have the money to go on a week-long night vigil in Durban with a born-again Christian pastor, you definitely have the money to see a therapist. And the chemicals in your brains being overwhelming, bringing about chaos in your life is not your fault, and it is not a failure on your end. You just need help. Unfortunately, if you go see a therapist, receive medication, go for regular counseling, have someone who can not only just hold you accountable, because yes, there are certain destructive behaviors that we engage in that ruin our own lives, but also how you can leave those destructive behaviors safely, because leaving them abruptly causes more harm than good. And having someone who can have you in a space where they make you realize that not everything is your fault, and your mind being like other people's minds and yours needing a bit of help to function better so you can have a better quality of life is not your fault. Their churches will be empty. The reason why I've become so immune to the judgment of Christians is because I know that if there's one person that they're judging more harshly than me, it's themselves. I'm not sure if y'all have clocked this, but there's such a huge disconnect between Christians and confident secular people. They can't wrap heads around the fact that a person can be so confident and comfortable in who they are without being instructed by someone else to do so. That's why like a lot of these pastors are against therapy and against a lot of their mentally ill congregants receiving treatment. I have a friend who said that her pastor or whatever, or a sermon that she heard, said you should meditate because you don't know what kind of spirit you're inviting into that space, and that calmness that you feel afterwards is the devil. The devil wants you to be calm. Or this other lady who has bipolar and she's currently not taking meds, has never taken them, because her pastor said her disordered mood is because God and Jesus are revealing things to her, and the medications are going to stop the revelation. This whole idea of why they have these overnight prayers, these weird crusades, these weird donations, these weird this and that, is the fact that you will never or should never feel content, and you will never be at peace. So you need to keep coming back to their church to be broken down and to hear the harsh truth and to be battered and bruised. So if you watch more of her video, right, she goes on to say, the whole point of being Christian is evangelizing. When you're on the plane and you are not talking about Jesus to the person sitting next to you, that's crazy. Wise word from my mom was like, imagine you're from KZN, right? and you relocated to Joburg to follow your dreams, to follow your passion. You got a job, you're studying, and you are on that plane because you're going back to KZN to bury your mother. Your mother has not lived long enough to see you realize your potential, realize your dreams, and you're just shattered. Or a sibling, even if it's not death, but the reason why you're traveling and you're in that plane is not good. And it's deep go young. It's like, imagine then someone who's sitting next to you is like to you, Jesus hates you, you're trash, F you suck. That's ridiculous. And this might sound a bit rich coming from me because I am young, but I also have a disconnect with really young Christian pastors, whatever, because I get that the Bible is the book of life. And I honestly believe that some things you need to live through them. And unfortunately, a lot of Christians are sheltered. Again, a lot of them don't engage in anything secular, but they don't even really know what's going on in the world. So how can I spend 3 hours in the church listening to a 25-year-old telling me how to improve my life when they grew up in a mansion that was funded by the church's money, and they've never read novels, they've never gone to university, they've never read anything, they've never done outreach, what am I going to learn from that person? I'm just curious. Because another thing I've been really learning to, lean into is just hearing people's life stories and not just everything being a regurgitation of stats and fancy words and like encyclopedia stuff. Like, so much value in learning from people who might not have had access to formalized forms of education or higher education, but just hearing how their life has turned out, how their day-to-day lives live. And it's kind of a spit in the face to hear someone with little to no life experience telling you while holding a Bible, waiting for me to say, deep, yes, pastor.
Y'all is not gonna like this video I'm gonna put up. One of the things that he told me to throw away was the Arabic perfume.
Okay, I knew by how you pronouncing this that this was not an educated conversation, but go ahead.
Put away. And he also told me to throw away all of the other Arabic perfume I bought. Now, I researched a lot of the symbols. The Yara one, I don't think came back anything, but God still told me to throw it away, so I did.
You researched that, but didn't research that Christianity literally derives from the Middle East, which is where Arabic energy comes. Girl.
When I researched that one, something did come back about the Quran and something like that.
Why do they treat the Quran like it's not just their version of their Bible? And here's the funny thing. They have one. The Christians have like 50,622 translations for their one Bible.
And I was like, no, I serve God. I serve the one true living God. I serve Jesus Christ of Nazareth. So
where do you think Nazareth is? Where do you think it is? Alexa, where is Nazareth?
In the northern region of Israel.
Do you get it? Do you get it? Because it's Arabic. Ever wonder why them Arabs look like Jesus?
I'm not going to have another, deity in my, I don't serve. I'm not Muslim. I don't, Allah to me is a fake God.
Y'all are exhausted.
And that's because the Most High God told me that. He's a fake God.
Do you even know how to discern spirits? Obviously not. How do you even know it was him? The fact that you're calling it a him is already sus, but how do you even know? Did you fact check it?
Also, the Lord told me, now I have something in my house. It's demonic.
You look at you choking on that lie. That's what happens when you lie.
Be careful of the things that y'all have in your house. Be careful of the gifts that y'all receive from people. Because gifts can also be associated with demonic spirits or anything like that. Even with animals. They could be associated with demonic spirits.
This is not what they meant when they said counted all joy. Y'all are robbing people of joy. Like, we can't have nothing. And y'all not even happy. Everything is demonic. But also, ain't no hate like Christian love. It can't be.
Just be careful.
Be careful of a lot of stuff y'all have. Be careful of people like this, systems like this. I try to convince people and coerce people based on fear that if they like anything outside of this, they're going to hell. Anything that threatens critical thinking, be wary. And this is coming from someone who used to be a diehard Christian, like, went on mission trips. It's a trap! It's a trap!
People or black people are mentally ill. There is a split in our consciousness, a schism in our minds. We are presenting dissociative behavior. There's a lot of dissociation in our lifestyles and our mannerisms and our ways. That is the sickness. And if you know anything about dissociative sort of behavior and way, you will see that it is normally in response to trauma, stress, and we know that can affect you biologically and also mentally. And personally, for me, from what I've observed in human societies and psychology, a disease of the mind can last for all of eternity if it's not corrected. 1,200 years of slavery back to back is going to have an effect on our genes, and it's going to have an effect on the racial subconscious, the collective subconscious of black people. The archetypes that we will believe in, will imbibe, or the archetypes that we take within our communities, all of that will bring the wrong problems. So much complexes that are negative. We are in a form of religious psychosis. Yeah? You see? Some people, if you observe people who have lost their minds a bit, you can see that they can just get on. They're just getting on with things, but it's not what you call normal. Yeah? But to them, they're normal. So with us, we're in a form of religious psychosis because the beliefs that we've imbibed, the doctrines that we live by, especially when it comes to the free Abrahamic religions, it doesn't benefit us because those religions literally cause, they actually foster the division a bit more and the split in consciousness that we have. Think about it. Think about it. Imagine you've gone through 1,200 years of slavery. One came by a religion that was supposed to bring peace, called Islam. The other, a religion that is supposed to be all about love, Christianity. Yeah? Then you read through the scriptures and it tells you that there is a God, of the universe, and he comes down and saves a group of people, and he calls them his chosen people. So when black people, we read the scripture, deep inside, because of what we've been through, those energies, those strong emotions and feelings and trauma that our ancestors went through is all there in the subconscious. So we read the story and we identify with it, but we also dissociate from the story because it doesn't. We can relate to it, but it's like it's not making sense. It messes with our minds. I keep saying it. You guys won't appreciate me for saying this, but in the future you will. It messes with your mind because in yourself you feel like you're chosen, but you're not chosen because God said that it's some people that are outside of Africa that are chosen. It messes with your mind. But then you can relate to the story because you've been through not even 400 years. You had your 400 years and you also had an extra 800 prior. It messes with you. Then the world tells you that you are not good enough, that something is wrong with your skin, something is wrong with your hair, something is wrong with your nose. You're treated somehow, you don't even know why. That messes with you psychologically. The world tells you don't even have a history. It tells you that the greatest civilization on the face of that has ever lived, that is on the African continent, couldn't have been made by African people. In fact, they will rather give it to aliens than black people. You guys, you will appreciate what I'm saying. You guys will laugh now, but you will cry later. I promise you. Just think about what I'm saying to you guys. Try and understand what I'm trying to say to you guys. So we're so desperate for change. We will pray day and night. Catch us in the churches. Catch us in the masjid. Catch us. Some of us even go even further than that and say we are Hebrew Israelites. Because the world's running away from Africa, we too were running away from Africa in the hopes of a promised land and a promised place outside of our minds, the African soul, and outside of Africa. It's so messed up, guys. It's a mental illness. We have to get away from it. And some people wake up from this nightmare. People from the black people who are caught up in the psychosis like to say that no, he's a demon. He's not from us. You even at times you may even oppress that person. Guys, wake up. Yeah, you can overcome anything in life just by the changing of your attitude. We know about epigenetics. Yeah, but let me tell you something. Ideas and doctrines are just as powerful as one's environment. Yes, the environment influences you, but ideas as well. So let us have the right idea. Let us wake up from this stuff. Yes, just think about it. What I'm saying to you about our history and what we are and what this stuff is actually due to years of study from me, but it's actually factual. Wake up. African spirituality, ancient Egypt is not evil, it is good, and in fact, that is the home of the kingdom of God. This is not a lie, this is a fact.
Sin, yes, Jim is a sin. Everything you are doing here, Satan is recording everything. God.
This is how spiritual psychosis looks like. And I feel we don't take this seriously enough. Because so many of your aunties, your grandmothers, your uncles, your grandfathers are going through this and you don't even realize. This behavior has become so normalized that it's seen as someone's walk in faith when really it's a cry for help. Mental health is already taboo in so many black communities, but let's really start addressing it in relation to religion. Most religious people won't admit this, but they are really traumatized by religion. Because somewhere in your family, there is an auntie, there is a friend that is always reminding you that the end times are upon us. Your pastors and your priests are always having revelations about how agonizing hell is going to be like, and you're reminded of this every Sunday. And I know most of you know a few other communities that claim to be the chosen one, how they hear prophetic messages directly from God. I want to remind you all that there is a very thin line between being convicted in your faith and literal psychosis. When this goes untreated, we've all seen how disastrous this can be. So many people walking in faith have unalived themselves and also others because they thought the end times were here. Others have attempted to fast 40 days and 40 nights like Jesus did, just to unalive themselves, and people watch them do it. Some of you guys are very unaware because you're looking up to set people because their journey seemingly is inspiring. What we really need to start doing is deconstructing this harmful ideology. Continue raising awareness about how mental health looks like, specifically in our community, and start offering help. This is not healthy.
As a Christian, I say Jesus' name is above all names, including Muhammad's. What am I supposed to say? It's the other way around? Wait, who said that?
It's funny you say that. I'm going to play devil's advocate for a minute. I'm going to describe someone and you can tell me in the comments who that person sounds like I'm describing to you. So, born of a virgin mother, born on, or celebrated on December 25th, born in a manger, 3 wise men came to visit him. He grew up to be a teacher, a traveling teacher who performed miracles, was baptized, and was crucified, or for one reason or the other. Do you know who that is? About 1,000 gods who predate the guy that you're thinking of historically. And when I say historically, I mean in the terms that actually matter in the real world, not in whatever timeline that we're abiding by that has no historical context. Because you see, the thing about theological timelines is they have to marry up with historical timelines. If they don't, then they're not relevant. So there are about 1,000. Okay, let's condense it down to 10. There are about 10 gods around the world, some of the who are still being worshipped today, who predate the guy that you're thinking about by thousands of years. Do you understand? And to come, like, it's fine to respect each other's religion. It's fine to, it's fine for everybody to have our own kind of outlooks on life. But I find that it's very arrogant for you to then say that your way of communicating with the Most High, which is not even your way, funny enough, as a black person, to say that your way is the best way and every other way is whatever it is, it's just unintelligent in my opinion. Because not only does the truth exist, we live in a day and age where the truth is very easily accessible, but in typical black people fashion, we want to bury our heads in the sand and champion things that don't necessarily support us. I tried to be impartial for this video, but it's very, you can clearly see which way I'm leaning, but I'm going to leave it at that anyway. I just find it funny talking about, you know, authenticity and all of that. It's just hilarious to me.
I think I'm watching you go through religious psychosis. Why? Because I'm telling people that heaven is within them. Because I'm telling people that the way for them to access God is through their own vessel, their own body, their own emotions, their own triggers, their own traumas. You think I'm going through religious psychosis because I'm establishing that science explains spirituality and religion is simply spirituality personified, the spirit with a name. What part of it is giving delusion? The part of me that is saying the institutions that were created to be the standard of truth are lies? What part of it seems irrational to you? The part where I say that the internet is defined as a place where you bury the dead. I mean, that's literally the definition of the word inter, I-N-T-E-R. You can go fact check me, go look it up in the Merriam-Webster dictionary. In fact, any dictionary, that's what I did. But I'm always curious when I see comments like this. Tell me why. I don't think you believe that.
Seven common themes of religious psychosis. First one, grandiose delusions that you are extra special in the universe or extra special to God. Number two, persecution delusions and or spiritual warfare. This idea that there's a spiritual battle going on and you can kind of see what's going on, aka Chad Daybell. Hallucinations, and particularly for religious psychosis, this is going to be auditory hallucinations about messages from God, messages from the universe. A Messiah complex, which is different than just grandiose illusions because it's really about you being a Jesus kind of character or that your special mission is going to somehow save humanity. Number five, apocalyptic beliefs, convictions about the end of the world, prophetic visions about the end of the world. Number six, religious fixation, where you're really trying to find patterns in something like the Bible or billboards because you believe that the universe is talking to you. And the last one is divine revelation, or feeling like you're processing a lot of information, a lot of patterns all at once, and it feels like it's happening from God or outside of you. That can even lead to hypergraphy, which is when you can produce an insane amount of writing with a lot of patterns and connections in a very short amount of time. People can write Bibles in like 3 days. Now, religions like to say, no, but my religion is real. Those religious psychosis people just took it too far and they went too crazy. But this to me is evidence that we are the ones creating religion. Because in psychosis, you are not filtering your subconscious. You're not compartmentalizing with a fully functioning ego at that time. It's like your brain, instead of being compartmentalized, it's been put into a blender. So now a daydream feels real. And now my subconscious desire to feel special feels real. And now my ability to create patterns out of nothing seems very real. And my processing isn't limited. It's hyper processing. And my subconscious desire to create an in and out group to feel safe is projected. And now I'm calling some people zombies and some people saved. I think all of these themes are showing up with religious psychosis because this is what is going on with us subconsciously, and it's just not being repressed. And what this means is that a lot of what religion is, not all of it, there are beautiful things, inspiring things, tools, I put that on my channel too, but a lot of what religious is psychosis, is the projections of our subconscious that we are blind to, and the more dangerous parts of that are curbed by society so that you kind of pull back on your faith a little bit so that we can function in modern society. And then we add rationality on top of that, thinking that we are rational, thinking that we have reasons to believe XYZ, when really we are being driven by our subconscious desires and subconscious fears. And we can tell that by the similarities of people in religious psychosis. And also that would mean the similarities that we have between religions, which some people say point to the fact that there really is a God, because all of these religions have so many similarities, actually more lends to the idea that religions are similar because our subconscious fears and our subconscious desires are similar because we're all human. And the weird thing is, if I would have just told that 3-minute speech to my previous self that was religious, I don't think I could have believed myself. I don't think I would have convinced my previous self. I only kind of believe it now because when I lost religion and I lost my faith, I was able to face those subconscious fears more directly and realize then how much it was driving behavior. But I wouldn't have recognized it when I was in religion.
Have you heard about spiritual psychosis?
No. What is that?
Oh my gosh. This is a really scary thing. My best friend's studying to be a psychiatrist, right?
Okay.
She's in like med school. Yeah.
Okay.
And we were talking, and after about the age of 25, our frontal lobe develops, right?
Yes.
And that's when either people like become super religious out of nowhere, because it's usually schizophrenia, and underdiagnosed schizophrenia at the age of 25.
And they say a lot of people that experience schizophrenia are extremely religious.
Yeah, you know what's fascinating? My mom had schizophrenia, and every time she would have an episode or a crisis, she would just go crazy with like religiosity. She would be going like door to door and like telling people that like my brother was the second coming of Christ and all this crazy shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a connection. Schizophrenia and religion for some reason. I don't know what it is. The hyperfixation of like transcending evil.
Well, then you can't say like someone's like, I feel the Jesus in me. They think they're religious, not crazy. If I were to walk in and say the FBI's after me, people are going to be like, 5150, lock her up. But if I was like, Jesus is here with me right now, they'd be like, amen, sister.
Letting my baby listen to a song that I should have done more research on, and I'm here to tell you about it because I feel like such a bad mom. I never thought to even check the artist. Terrible mom mistake. This is what she looked like. Yeah. Literally gives me the heebie-jeebie chills. Ugh. You can look her up and see some of the songs that she sings, and in my opinion, they're demonic. And I literally almost cried.
This is the song she's talking about. And when I watched her video and I watched her follow-up video, I could see myself. That's exactly who I used to be. And in her follow-up video, she feels extra validation and justification in feeling that way, because according to her, people attacked her for having that opinion. When you're living in that mindset, it's almost as if you craved disagreement. If someone tells you that you're overreaching or that you're being an extremist or that you're going too far, your brain lights up with sparkles. It's almost like it gives you such a feeling of accomplishment. Religion wires you to feel like you're under attack anytime someone disagrees with you, and then gives you that feeling that you must be doing something right. The opposition is literally your sign for divine approval and the sign that you're on the right side. And because I was always craving that feeling of accomplishment and divine approval, I was always looking for things that would put me under attack. It would be music, it would be children's stories, it would be books, it would be literally anything I saw. I was like, that is from the devil, and I'm immediately under attack, and I gotta share that with the world. I'm sure that was the cause for my extreme anxiety, and I'm so happy I'm free from that. I could not imagine putting my kids through that much stress.
I was listening to a girl talk about her spiritual psychosis episode, and I had a crazy thought. She was talking about how, like, nobody was like, hey, are you okay? What the hell is going on here? Like, and this happens a lot where people in spiritual psychosis or having religious, like, delusions, the religious community welcomes them with open arms because fundamentally, they cannot tell the difference between someone who is subscribed to their religious beliefs or someone who is in literal psychosis. Like, they appear the same. And you cannot differentiate between the two. But when this person leaves psychosis, they're like, what was that? I thought I had this spiritual energy inside me that I was feeling, and I don't. And they're not religious anymore because they weren't before. It was a delusion. And yet all the people in these religious groups who aren't in psychosis think they feel this too and are convinced it is God or some sort of spiritual energy. Is that not saying something? The fact that, nobody, let's say a Christian, no Christian goes through psychosis and is like, holy shit, I'm an atheist, and then gets out of psychosis and goes back to being a Christian. Like, does that not say something? Like, you can't tell the difference between someone in psychosis and someone who's religious because the burden of proof is entirely on feelings. You just feel something. I've thought I felt God. I just liked music and concerts. I felt God at non-religious concerts because it's not God, it's an emotion I'm feeling. And if a person in psychosis can kind of prove that, I feel like this is something nobody talks about. Like, they just prove that they were 100% convinced they were religious, but it was a feeling and they weren't. Does that not fucking say something? Does that not fucking say something? That nobody goes into psychosis and decides to be an atheist, because an atheist it's rooted in logic in the sense that it's not rooted in feelings or a sense of connection to feelings. I'm just saying.
I do remember about 3.5 to 4 years ago when I woke up one morning and I was crying and I told Kenan, I was like, I'm just feeling convicted. And he was like, baby, what's going on? Like, what now kind of thing? And I was like, God wants me to throw my makeup away. So I threw away my Fenty makeup. I threw it all away. I stopped wearing makeup. I stopped wearing wigs and like sew-ins. I stopped doing it all. And I was like, the Lord wants me to embrace the way he created me. Stopped getting my nails done, all of it. Just cold turkey. Like, do you know how expensive that was? To throw all of that away? I threw away like so much because I thought that's what God wanted me to. I thought my obedience to that would lead me to a well done, my good and faithful servant. Like, out of my mind.
Why is it every time y'all come on here and y'all screaming, it's demonic, this is demonic, I cannot enjoy this album because it's demonic? Every time it's a black woman. And you too are a black woman. But the only time, and I do mean the only time y'all claim something is demonic, it's a black woman. I don't know, that feels a little bit like programming. That feels a little bit like programming. All the evil, demonic shit going on. And you live in America. But then again, a lot of the people, especially the black women, screaming, this is demonic, this is demonic. They're Republican.
And no hate to this person in the comments. I'm just using her comment to respond to this in the video. Alright, so I wanted to get on here and address some things with my religious psychosis video because a lot of y'all were committed to misunderstanding the point of the post and what I meant. What the post was not. The post was not to snuff out anybody's fire for God, that's number one. The post was not to diagnose anybody with religious psychosis, that's number two. It's a very much real thing, and there was a lot of people coming to attack for no reason without understanding the proper context of the video. Now, what is religious psychosis? Legalism can be a symptom, but it's not the same thing as religious psychosis at all. And it's not when you have visions. Visions are completely different, but it's a part of it, not all, but a part of it is when you have hallucinations of things that are not real and true that align with the faith. And there's a lot of stuff that is fear-based. It could be so much so that you end up in a psychiatric ward. Now, again, I'm talking about an extreme level. So when you see people trying to unalive people in the name of God, that's not him. When you see people trying to call people demonic and chastising them all day long, that's not God. When you're sitting here in fear and hiding yourself and isolating yourself constantly, that's not of God. Some people in the comments were saying like things like, oh, like sometimes a fly is just a fly. Like, yes, when you're in that or you're starting to go into religious psychosis, sometimes you overanalyze things to the point where it leads to torment. And you're calling everything God or you're calling everything the devil, and that's just simply not always the case. Now, I personally don't believe that God will bring you so much at one time that it causes you to snap or it causes you to lose touch with reality. I don't believe that my God would do that. If anything, the enemy would try to pervert things and make that your norm. The devil is very much real, and a lot of people try to act like he's not, and that's exactly how you get got every single time, is when you try to ignore the enemy as if he's not a real enemy. His favorite tactic is to steal, kill, and destroy. And he also likes to pervert a lot of things, and that's why some of the comments that was in there, I'm like, y'all don't even realize that the devil, you're letting the devil use you right now by sitting here and misconstruing exactly what someone's trying to say. Again, there are so many different examples that I can list, and a lot of them are in the comments. If you read some people's testimonies, they were putting it in the comments. Again, like I said, I don't believe that God will bring you so much at one time. He knows his children. He knows exactly what each child can handle. Then there was a lot of people in the comments saying like, oh, do you even really know what it is? Are you a doctor? And I just find that very interesting, how you can take from a 10-second video that you know someone or that you know their life story. And the answer to that is like, I have also went through it myself, and I know other people that also went through it, and that they were actually signed into the mental hospital because of it. Now, y'all don't deserve, because I don't really know y'all. Y'all are still strangers. I'm not going to get on here and tell my full exact testimony, but there's a lot of people in the comments that know exactly what I was talking about. And like I said, there was a lot of y'all that were literally committed to misunderstanding the point of the post. And again, I'm not talking about spiritual gifts. I'm not talking about being on fire for God. So if y'all were sitting over here just like, oh, she's not spiritual, she don't know the spiritual realm, and like, I'm not talking about that. And it's like, y'all were literally committed to misunderstanding that post.
To the people that come on here and say that, you know, God always tells you to denounce this, to get rid of that, don't do that, don't go there, don't do this. What does God tell you yes to? That man that cheats on you, that beats on you, that don't care about you? He tells you yes to that. But everything else he tells you no to. And you're convinced that it is God, even though you haven't prayed over your house since you moved in there. You haven't prayed over your children since they had COVID. You don't pray over your job. You don't pray over nothing but your food. And that's a generic prayer. But you're convinced whenever something is speaking to you, it's God. Don't you find that a little bit suspicious? God is always telling me no. God is always telling me no, but he tells me yes to the things that I'm most uncomfortable with. He tells me yes to the things that I would never do or never think about doing or never go. He tells me yes to that, tells me no to everything that I do on a daily basis. You don't find that weird? Coming from a Christian, a follower, why do none of y'all have discernment? All I'm ever hearing on here is God telling y'all no. Where are the yeses? That don't sound like my God.
Why do like religious people not realize that psychosis is a real thing? Like, I'm someone who I practice witchcraft. Okay, I've been through the psychosis. I've been through the moments of being like incredibly crazy. And I can recognize it when I see it. You're not talking to the Lord. Okay? Jesus Christ is not sending you a personalized message for only you, for the rest of the world. No, God did not tell you a specific message about me as a witch. Like, what? The ones who are receiving the most messages, I promise you, they are not known as Christians. Probably the furthest from it. Get out of the psychosis. It's okay. Free yourself.
Hey, my name is Kelsey, and did you know that there are black people on this app right now talking about slavery being a consequence to not practicing Christianity? And they're dead serious. They're not cracking smiles, not joking. They're serious. And they really think that. That is so insane to me. I can't even begin to explain how crazy that is. I never heard that growing up. I didn't hear that growing up. And I grew up in the Baptist church. I've never once in my life heard anybody say that to me. And I can't say that I would walk away without cursing them out if I did hear that. I don't care who it is. What do you mean? Why would you? What? I think people should be allowed to punch you in the face for saying things like that. I think somebody should be allowed to punch you in the face for saying that out loud. Because what the hell?
Nina Austin, licensed clinical professional, counselor. Welcome to Deconstructing My Way. How does Christianity negatively impact the mental health of black people, you want to ask? I'll tell you. It'll make you crazy. You will sound crazy. People think you crazy with them beliefs.
If Jesus was alive in 2025, y'all would say he has spiritual psychosis and kill that nigga all over again. Oh, y'all think that's a stretch? All right. Imagine everybody in the community already agreed that they was gonna use the church house to sell shit, sell merchandise and shit, and then a person walks up and start flipping over tables and kicking niggas out the church and then calling God his daddy, saying shit like, y'all turn my father's house, my daddy's house, into a den of thieves. This my daddy house. Get the fuck out of here. Y'all would say that nigga had spiritual psychosis. Stop playing. If somebody heard that somebody was a herbalist, a holistic practitioner, a healer, and they heard that somebody had healed somebody from something, and they walked up and said, hey, can you help my people with their ailments too? And then this person say, I forgive you of y'all sins. Y'all would kill that nigga. If Jesus was chopping it up with his homies and somebody walked up and said, hey, your mama and your sisters and them is outside, your brothers and sisters, they trying to holler at you. And that nigga said, I don't have any brothers and sisters. All my brothers and sisters are those who do the will of God. Fuck those people. Y'all would say he has spiritual Anybody who speaks from a level of spiritual authority that goes against the mass majority, they always gonna be deemed as crazy. Period. You go down to go holler at them people in them therapy places and you tell them that you talk to your ancestors, they gonna tell them that you hearing voices. Period. Everybody gonna be deemed as crazy. So if you go against the masses, you gonna be deemed as crazy. Like when that woman walked up in there and she said, I'm tired of hearing y'all objectifying y'all bodies and y'all saying y'all can't even afford this, $34. How much is it worth then? Because I'm really just... She stink. Y'all stink. See, y'all want to be on the internet putting on these shows. In real life, y'all fucked up. Y'all parents don't watch y'all, and y'all just like losing sight of what really life is about. That's some same shit that Jesus would have did. And just like y'all did Jesus, y'all gonna nail that bitch to the cross too. Let's just agree that everybody is okay with the bullshit being the bullshit and don't want to be called out on anything by anyone. Not even your preachers, pastors, and parents.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jenny. If you're new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. And don't forget to like and subscribe. But today's video is another how I use my Other Roots products in my everyday life, right? So like I said before, I was requested to make a video on how I use the oils and also the candles. So this was a candle that I made the other day on Thursday. So this is one of the money candles that I have. So I have a $5 here, and I have cinnamon sprinkled all over it. But in this candle, so it's already a dress candle, so you know how I made a video about like using the power of your monthly flow. So what I did was I used that and I wrote on a brown piece of paper, parchment paper, and I wrote exactly what I wanted money wise, you know, and I burn it in the candle. And also I put some of the Fast Luck, Fast Money from Other Roots. Those are all oils from Other Roots. Candles also from Other Roots. Fast Luck, Fast Money, Prosperity, Wealthy Ways. I put all of that in there. And while I'm putting the oil, of course, I'll tell the oil exactly what it should be doing. You know, bring me money, make my ways, you know, bring me money making ideas. You know, a lot of time I don't request for money because you can walk outside and find a penny and that's money. First of all, happy August. We're already in August. I can't believe it. But this is a new month for you to start manifesting whatever it is that you want. Put the word in the ether so the universe can hear you and basically is aware that that's what you're requesting for the month. You don't want to, y'all know how important, how powerful words are. So be careful what you're saying, right? But I put that here, and then I put whatever it is that I'm trying to manifest money wise underneath it. So I have one of my books that's sitting, this candle, this whole thing is sitting on the book. And of course I have all my other stuff, you know, water to represent water, because I use all 4 elements. So fire, smoke, water, and all that good stuff, right? So anyways, so I will let that burn until the candle is done, and then when I'm done, I will use this money wisely, like groceries, and or give it to a homeless person, or just anyone that's in need of money. I'll just give them that money so I can let the universe know, hey, I'm paying it forward, basically, right? So that's one way to do this. But today is Saturday, so I'm going to tell you what I do with the oils whenever I'm not like lighting a candle. So I already have candles lit for Saturdays, you know. Planet of Karma, planet of Saturn is Saturday, and the best colors to wear are darker blue, black, you know, find the colors that works best for you, but these colors repel, you know. So yeah, that's all, you know, you could do all that. But let me put this down so we can talk about the oils and the points in your body where you can put the oils, and what you should say when you put the oils, so the oils can do the work that it needs to do, right? So let's get into that. So let me just start off by yesterday I did like a beauty bath, and I saved some of the water and I sprayed on my face throughout, you know, the day, just like a setting spray or like a makeup, you know, just set your makeup kind of spray. And that water is activated my beauty and radiancy throughout the day, throughout the week, because I'll leave it in the refrigerator for like a few days. But I'm going to tell you the oils that I used yesterday and how they basically, I saw it in real 4K, how it actually manifested what I wanted. So yesterday, you guys saw that I posted a video. I was dressing like I was at the beach. I went to the beach with my girls. It was August 1st. It was National Friendship Day, and we didn't even know this until after we got home, and we got home hella late. So after the beach, we ended up going to this bar that was on the beach, and we stayed there until like 11. But I was dressed like a mermaid. I was wearing my cute white crochet dress that you guys saw in the video, and also I was wearing pearls around my head, you know, the headband, and also I had a pearl necklace, and I had a seashell earring that was sent to me. So because I knew I was going to the beach, I basically did some ritual, and I do my Saturday rituals, you know, for radiancy and, you know, beauty and all that stuff. I work with Venus. I work with my planets in my birth chart, so I can manifest based on the day and based on the planet that is. Just like, you know, when you have a new moon in like Scorpio and a new moon in Leo, I work with the energy of those planets to make sure I bring forth and get the most out of it, right? So basically I wrote it down so I won't forget, so I can tell you guys. So yesterday I used the Jezebel oil, and that is for attraction, command, attention, and seduction. So while I was there, I was with my friends, and those girls just couldn't believe how much attention we were getting. We didn't get anybody buying us drinks or anything, but we definitely got a lot of attention from women and men, and it was just a lot. But we really didn't want anybody to buy us drink, plus we weren't really drinking. We were, you know what I mean. But we prefer that, because drinks really like give us, it's like all of us feel that way. We get headaches and stuff, then the hangover is just not that serious, you know, so we just kind of avoid that. So basically, so the Jezebel oil, and I'm gonna tell you how to use them and where to put them, and also we'll do the Saturday ones also, because I have some on right now, right? And then the Venus Love Oil for beauty, charm, love, alluring, seduction, and passion oil for irresistible sensuality, spellbound oil. I love the spellbound oil. I use it all the time to entrance and captivate. Gold digger oil to draw and lavish gifts and all that stuff. Goddess of power oil to amplify divine feminine energy and influence. So while I was there, there's this one man, literally this man, it was a old white guy. This man walked by me and said, and just kept walking. My friends were like, what the hell is going on today? And they were like, bitch, did you wear your oils today? I wear my oils all the time, okay? Because yes, I'm married. I'm a married woman, but I'm not dead. I'm married, but I'm not dead. You know, my eyes still work, and my husband know this. Like you always dress up, you always dress, you know, for the part, and you know, people give you attention, and I'm not mad at it, because I marry a beautiful woman, and he knows this. So I'm like, I'm glad you know this, because look, I'm no cheater, but Honey, I'm not dead, okay? I'm walking, people notice me, and I know that people notice me because I'm a good-looking woman, right? Anyways, so yeah, so how you going to apply it? So the Jezebel oil you will put in your ankle, so behind your ankle and behind your knees, so people could follow you, like your admirers follow you and bring things, right? Venus oil on your cheeks because it brings your beauty and all that stuff. So on your cheeks and your décolletage, so right here is where you would put it. And then the seduction and passion oil, you'll put it just below your belly button and behind your ears, so you know your navel. Protect that spot right here, okay? Don't let nobody be sucking in your navel, especially a Haitian man. Do not. And we'll talk more about that. Gold digger oil on your palm and behind your ears to draw money and wealthy admirers. Goddess of power oil across your chest and solar plexus to radiate confidence and goddess authority. So when you're done, you're going to mix. If you have all these oils, you will mix and your perfume. You can mix it with your perfume, or you spray your perfume over after you put all the oils. You spray your perfume on yourself, but you can mix. So what you'll do is you basically say this while you apply your oils. Then you could say whatever you want, but that's what I said. I said, with each drop, I become unforgettable. I draw attentions like the tides pull the moon. My beauty commands, my voice enchant, my presence linger. I am the goddess of the sea, and the world is drawn to me. Every camera loves me, every eye adores me, every opportunity opens for me. So these are affirmations that I have based on, you know, what I'm doing. So whatever it is that you're doing, so for example, if you have the Fix Your Boss oil, you will apply the Fix Your Boss oil before you go to work or before you go in a meeting with your boss, and then you'll say the affirmation that best fits your situation, like, this boss is going to see the good in me and see the work that I put in and offer me a bonus type stuff, you know, or they're going to, whatever the case may be that is happening at work, they're going to overlook your actions, and you know, they're going to see you as the best worker, and you have so much to offer for the company. Basically, you'll make it however it fits for you, but you'll say that and you'll put it in locations that basically fits what it is that you're trying to do, and that's it. You know, you could burn candles while you do that. So yesterday when I was doing my beauty spell, my beauty rituals, and you guys know, yes, I'm a witch. I do not let, or a goddess, I prefer to say goddess, right? I don't let situations take control of my life. I take control of my life and the situation that is in the present, you know, and I'll use herbs and oils, whatever the case may be, to fix that situation. I'm not going to. So what I did was I used cinnamon, rose petals, and honey to do this love bath that I do. And if you guys want me to teach you how to do that, let me know, and I will make a